time, so we're going to make it short. We're looking for a fastball cahillet. 20 minutes. Okay. It's my minute, says over here in the bottom. Who got the chok out of Shlita? And, it was edited, right, in English? And, higher? Okay. And the second thing is, the Rebbe gave it out, and the Rebbe gave it out for $2, and with a piece of lekach. And when they were refarsing the Maimon, the Rebbe says, "V'yirotzu sheyichol kol haretzuya." Fine. So we'll start. We're going to try to cover a few pieces, a few parts. It's not shy to do the whole thing in 20 minutes. Basically, over here, he starts with a few questions. First of all, he asks, why is Moshe the mitzvah? He asks, why does it say they bring the oil to Moshe Rabbeinu? It's supposed to bring it to Aaron. Aaron was the one lighting the menorah. Also, he asked the question, why did it say that the Shem is causes lamoyin? Should have said lahoyin. It's not to become a source of light, it's the light itself. Light is coming out of the oil, even though the oil is not lighting, but at least it's in order to give out light, not just to be in a state of amoy. Then he asked the question, why does it say me'erev ad boiker? Here it says lahal there tomid, and later it says it's only me'erev ad boiker. Why over here, we speak about bringing the oil to Moshe Rabbeinu, it's lahal there tomid. This is shayas, this is maimer everyone learned. I know there's a yid that learns every day a piece of this maimer. Every day he looks in this mind for 10 minutes, he learns the mind. The mind that I gave out, Anoshim Noshim B'Taf, everyone shaycht it, and it's the last mind that was Muge. So if you want, you could say that here in this mind that I was explaining what is Moshe Rabbeinu. What's the Va'ata Tetzav? Although there's another mind, Lahovani and Ashbi. But this mind the Rebbe says, what's Va'ata Tetzav? The Rebbe explains, what is Va'ata Tetzav? So he explains, Va'ata Tetzav, he says, Tzav is not a commandment, rather a connection. Moshe Rabbeinu connects the Yidden with the Eibishter himself. And through the fact that Moshe connects the Yidden with the Eibishter, this adds into Moshe. He brings the Moshe that says that Sheish himself, Rag Yom HaShanechi B'Kir B'Yidden are Moshe Rabbeinu's feet. Moshe Rabbeinu is the head, we all know from Tani Perek Beis, there's a Koyma Achas, and every Yid is a different part of the Koyma. The Reish B'nai Yisrael, the Eibishter, the Rebbe is giving out Keiches, giving Keiches through the Reish, to the B'nai Yisrael, that every Yid gets Chayes from Moshe Rabbeinu. Like in other places explain that the Mashpoch is Gashmi is come from Moshe, we'll explain later also a little bit Kitzer, and Ashpoch Yisruch, everything comes from Moshe, like it says, the whole world is getting sustenance through Bishvil, through Chanilu B'ni. All the Ashpois come from Moshe. He says over here that just when a person, the feet, take the head to a place where the head on its own cannot get, so to Moshe and Yidden, that the Yidden added in Moshe Rabbeinu. How do they add in Moshe? It's the feet, just like the feet of a person. True, the feet takes the person where a person can't go on its own, but it's on self-understood that who is leading the feet, who is giving the highest to the feet to go, that all is happening from the head. And upon this in the Moshe already, Mirum is what he's going to say at the end of the Maimer too. Upon him, he concludes, after the Tzavos B'nai Yisrael, you should tell them, you should connect them to the Eibishter, and through this, they will bring you, they will add it to Moshe Rabbeinu. What does this mean? What is he giving it to the Yidden? What is the Yidden giving it to Moshe Rabbeinu? So he starts saying, what is Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu is called Raya Mehem. And there's two pirush. The first pirush is 5 words. Shorei Nemo Shei Yisrael. Agetraye Pastach, which means a faithful shepherd. He takes care. This is the first thing. The rest of the Maimer goes all about the second pirush. The first pirush, that the Moshe Rabbeinu is a trustworthy, a faithful shepherd taking care of all needs of the Yidden. Gashmis, Ruchnis, everything is coming from Moshe Rabbeinu. And he cares about them, and whenever I heard a story later that someone was saying that, said the name of Melech Tzvibel, he was a Bochen, with Mirat HaShidduch, and he wasn't interested. So it was off. the Kallahs aside, they came to the Rebbe and they said to the Rebbe, what should we do? We want the Shidduch. So the Rebbe said, wait till after the summer. In the summer was a Melech's birthday, so he came to Yechidus to the Rebbe. He had questions, nothing to do with the Shidduch. He had his Avodas Hashem. Then the Rebbe asked him, what's with the Shidduch? The demon did so-and-so. And you can imagine this Shidduch happened. So the Rebbe told them in Yechidus that they should wait till after the summer, because the Rebbe knew it's going to be his birthday, and he's going to come into Yechidus V'Imoledus. And the Rebbe, the best time to do it, the best way to, the Astachman would be, and in Yechidus, so he waited for the Yechidus in order to be able to take care of business, so to speak. So he said, so much people, and this book, the Rebbe should remember his birthday. So this is just a one dogma. When every person has their voice, it's just saying one prat. When we think like really a insignificant concept, and we should how it's negated. He takes Kipposh Megash on each individual level, on each person's level, on all details. This is the Erste. Then it says the second thing, that what? That he gives them, he feeds them emunah. What does it mean? He feeds them the emunah. Chul Yid is a maimin. I mean a b'nei maimin. So that emunah could be a makif together, which means, like it's brought down in many places. Over here, it doesn't bring it down in the maimin, but in many places, it's brought down. It's not just the ganva pumachtar trachmona karye. It's every person in his life. Pumachtar trachmona karye. Whatever it is, I'm not going to get into details, but it's mentioned in many places of Siddur, and this Maimon that doesn't mention. Akoponim, the Nekuda is that he believes in the Eibishter, but till a certain place. It doesn't penetrate his whole, in all his areas in life. And Moshe Rabbeinu, what is he? Feeding this Amunah, that this Amunah, which a Yid believes anyways, because he's a Yid, it should penetrate him fully. And he brings from the Zohar that this Amunah, which every Yid has, through Moshe, they should be able to feed off it. So then he continues, that we say, this what Moshe Rabbeinu has this feature that he gives. He feeds the Amunah. It's not just by Moshe Rabbeinu, it's in every generation too. And he brings in the idea of, it says, Mordechai b'dei k'Moshe b'dei. That him too, he strengthened the Amunah of the Yid, and it shouldn't just stay in their heart, it should actually come down to Pel Mamish, to the Mesiras Nefesh, to the Kai Mitzvahs, even when the Mesiras Nefesh, even to come Barabim. And that's what he gave them, this to strengthen their Amunah. They should become so real to them that they should be ready to be Mesiras Nefesh. Here the Rebbe goes on to the whole thing, how it's connected with Kosas Lamoy, that the Chure, what does this have to do with Kosas Lamoy? Then you have this idea that Moshe is connecting the Yid and strengthening their Amunah. Why do we say Dafke Kosas? So the Rebbe explains, the Hagdim, that Yidden took upon themselves, Torah Mitzvah became their thing more than B'Shas Matan Torah. By Shas Gzeres Homon, why? Because there was a time of Hell of a Hester. And therefore, in order to overcome the Hell of a Hester, they had to be Mesiras Nefesh. So in that moment, it became their thing. It's not just they did Torah Mitzvah because of the Gilum Almayla, like it's explained in Chassidus that B'Shas Matan Torah there was Aved. The Eibshe showed us Aved to the Yidden. That's the Kof Aleim Hakagigis. Automatically they went and they did Torah Mitzvahs, as opposed to the time of Achashverosh, which there wasn't this Gilui Aved. There was Adrab Azman of Hell of a Hester, and still the Yidden, like it's brought down, they all died to Mashev's Chutz, not one Yid during the whole year. And they went ahead and they were Mesiras Nefesh because it became their thing. Torah and Mitzvahs is their thing. It's not shaykh them without it. So you ask, what's the connection with this? With what he said before, that he gave them the idea of that he feeds them the Amunah to become the Pnimius. What's the connection of these two things? So he explains over here, there's two ways why a Yid believes in the Eibishter. Two biyur. This is a nice area. One biyur is because Mazlayu Chos, in the Shom Alamayla, actually sees the Eibishter. It's not something he understands, he sees it. He can't be makish, something that you see. That causes that the Neshama and the Guf should also have, we should believe in the Eibishter. It's not something we see, it's something we believe in. But the reason why it's so true by us, because Mazlayu Chosi, it's one thing with us. penetrates us, we're ready to be Mesa Nefesh. But then there's another being that's not because of the Ian of the course, rather because this is who the Yid is. His Kashus Atzmis. The Yid with the Eibishter is not because of something he sees, something he recognizes, which is outside of him, and therefore, if he wants, he will go after it, if not the Khmon al-Islam. Rather, this is the Yid. The Yid is Amun of the Eibishter. And Pavus the Maisa with the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe asked the Meshe Velenke, was is God? He asked him 3 times. And the Meshe Velenke didn't answer. The Alter Rebbe said, was ist Gott kann nicht wissen, aber jetzt kann man ja wissen, als ist Avade da, und nur ist ist keine Sache, Avade nicht fahren. Then he asked him, what's in the Neshama? So he said, and he asked him 3 times, again, what's in the Neshama? Again, what's in the Neshama? And he didn't answer. And Alter Rebbe said, the Neshama is there, I don't know the exact word, Loshen, it's verkocht in der Minion. As no Eretz van Eistern is keine Sache nicht fahren. That's a Neshama. It's not something, this is a Neshama. So the Mele, that's his Metzias. That's why he's Mesa Nefesh, because this is him. And he says, since this is him, so then even when the Neshama comes down on a goof, which he doesn't experience the reality of the Neshama L'maylo, but still it penetrates, this is him, it's not Shaykh, he shouldn't be Mesa Nefesh. So this connection that a Yid has, in this higher level of Amunah, this is what Moshe Rabbeinu brings to be Megala by the Yid. And in this there's 2 stages, there's 3 types. 3 stages, 3 Ifanim, how this Amunah could play. One Eifin is Mesiras Nefesh. That the goal of Yid is Mesa Nefesh, it's not Shaykh Sandish. Kol Adenis, Yid were Mesa Nefesh, we felt the time of the Maimon, like the Rebbe brings out. In that time they were Mesa Nefesh Bepele. The Friedrich would tell people to go to a place, not al das that will last. And he won't last. The Kach have it. The Rebbe explains how this is even a greater Mesiras Nefesh than to go himself on Mesiras Nefesh. But upon that's the way it was. Then there is another level. Moshe Rabbeinu brings the Amunah of a Yid into his das. That not only because I realize this is my Metzias, that Eibishter, therefore I'm ready to give myself away, I'll do everything what Eibishter tells me, but more than that. I understand what I believe. It's not that I'm utilizing all my faculties, all my keches for the Eibishter. It's more than that. I understand what I believe. It's something that became my thing. Which is, if you want, that's the Yidden of Chabad. Chabad is not just to believe in the Eibishter. The Mele will do everything for the Eibishter. It's all for the Baal Shem Tov, that the Yidden are ready to make an effort for the Eibishter. But more than that, it should become something penetrating the person's seichel, his Metzias, which the ultimate Metzias of the person is the seichel, his way of thinking, his way of looking at things. That itself should be mechayev elikus. That's the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, the day that they got a das in elikus. That's the of Chabad. Then there is a third thing that Rebbe explains. This book, why is it connected with the Etzem Metzias? Since the Etzem Metzias of Yid is elikus, we Rebbe explained, since this is the Etzem of the Yid, that this is who he is, so that it's impossible that there should be parts of him which shouldn't be they shouldn't be able to take in this reality. Therefore, even the seichel of the person will also be mechayev. In other places, the Rebbe explains how one has to come after the other. Right? The Alter Rebbe came after the Baal Shem Tov, only after there is like the Rebbe brings it again to the Pirush of Baal Shem Tov that the Alter Rebbe brings. And the Pasuk Leilam Avayit Dvorch Mitzvah Shamayim, that there's a Dvar Avayit in every nivra. First, the Alter Rebbe brings the Medrash, the Pasuk, Azay the Metzias. Then he brings it down to Seichel. Because in order to bring it down to Seichel, first has to be the Amunah. Only then can we work on bringing it down. This all comes, the Kecha from the Rebbe. Now there's a third way. Not only is he ready to utilize his Metzias for the Eibishter, more than that, he understands the Eibishter. It penetrates him in the Seichel. But sof, which part of the Eibishter, what is he connecting? How is he connecting to the Eibishter? So the Rebbe says the most he's connecting is the Amunah of the Iyah Shalamayla Me'aseichel. True, the reason why I'm connecting, I'm involved, and I can comprehend and make sense to me in Yom Shalamayla Me'aseichel, because that's who I am. But the end, what am I in touch with? Only the Gidrei HaSeichel, so to speak. It's coming down in Seichel, Hefet in Seichel, Echeron, Hefet, my Seichel is Mechayev, there's something greater than me. I realize it. It's a reality, it makes sense to me, it It penetrates my understanding. But does it penetrate the person? Till which degree does it penetrate the person? Does it touch him to the core that he can't stand? He can't live without the lakus? That's the third level. That's the level which explains the uftu of the achar gzeira. There is no gzeira. Everything is fine. Learn chassidus, medabek chassidus. It's beautiful. Life is at the best, the peak. It's the gashmis, the ruchnius. Everything is nice. Then after that came the kibbul hayehudim, a deeper level. Even achar hanes, still there's a deeper level, a deeper connection to the Eibishter, which before they didn't experience. And what is that? So the Rebbe explains by Arichas how that is the recognition that a Yid realizes he's in Golus. It's not something, in other words, as gate in the Stein, the Gashmus in the Ruchnis. He can be satisfied that this is it. The Lashon of the Rebbe's Maimon, you have it in Siftes, in Goanyino, it says like this. When a Yid gets a bracha from Golus, why is it a bracha the fact that it's in Golus? Because that's his metzias. Every single Yid wants that they should be, the Eibishter should be begoli, should be revealed. Not just he wants it, it's a good thing, it's a nice thing. It's in such a way, the etzem metzius of the Yid is that there should be gilei lakus. Therefore he says, the fact that in the time of Golus, of exile, we don't have God's presence revealed, like at the time of the Beis Hamikdash. And especially, he says, when he thinks into the fact that if whoever the Beis Hamikdash was not built in his days, it's as if it actually was, everyone knows the Sikha. It could be a Leva Even, steht in the heart, and steht Leva Even, wer hat the Beis Hamikdash? The Kern der Welt, everyone knows the Sikha. So in Zahatzme, he's in Ganzen zu traceled. He doesn't find place, he doesn't find peace in himself. He can't go further. Even when we're speaking, he says he goes weiter, he has a bit of bias. But the fact that there's a place in the world where the Eibishter is not revealed is a raya that even by him he's not ultimately connected with the Eibishter. There's limitations between him and the Eibishter. There's a hell, there's a place where the Eibishter is not totally revealed to him. And since his metzius is the Eibishter, it's not something in addition. He'll have a better day. He'll have a greater situation. That is who he is. The Mele, better in Ganzen zu traceln for that. How does he have this? So the Rebbe explains that's from the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe would say, he would say many times, the other says before davening, he would even fall on the floor, and he would say, ich will sich gar nicht, ich will nicht ein Ganeden, ich will nicht ein Elam haben, ich will mehr nicht als dich allein. And then he would start saying, hey, Baal Shem Kiddush Shmei. That's what it says in a few places. And he said, because the Alter Rebbe says this gave a power that at least some Efes Kotzeyu, every Yid, here doesn't say the word Efes Kotzeyu, but here it says, Nitakech, Kol Echad Ech Misro, She'ikir Yitzeni Yid Gilei Atzmus. Ad Klikata, if you don't have it, he's not satisfied. He can't go weiter. He's in Ganzen zu traceled, and he's constantly asking the Eibishter that he wants to have this situation. Why is it? Why is it? Because by him is made the Etzem HaNeshama, which is connection with the Eibishter, is not an additional thing, not something he sees, not something he realizes. This is him. The Rebbe explains that this is even greater, like I said before, this is greater than Mesiras Nefesh. You can have Mesiras Nefesh, but it's not the person himself. It doesn't penetrate in his day-to-day life. When he's not in a case that he has to overcome the KGB or wherever someone's going to hunt him if he does a mitzvah. Everything is good. He's in America. Everything's fine. Everything is comfortable. No one's telling him not to do mitzvahs. Everything is fine. He's comfortable. He has his things. He has everything he needs. Begashmias and even beruchnias. The fact that he should be in a state that is in Ganzen Tres, he can't sit. He can't be proud, so to speak. He can't be comfortable with where he is. That's because the Etzem HaNeshama of the Yid is revealed, not just the Etzem HaNeshama which sees the Eibishter, rather the Etzem HaNeshama Mamish, and it penetrates even his understanding, even his cognitive, and even his feeling. How does that happen? How could that happen? So the Rebbe explains there's two diagrams in the Etzem HaNeshama. If we speak about the Etzem HaNeshama, then we say the pure connection to the Eibishter, L'mayla Mitam Vadas. That's one connection to the Eibishter. Then there is the connection to the Eibishter, which has no definition. There is no way to connect. The etzem neshama the losh of yekim mishmoshesh ba'atzmus. So then over there, in the acts of the Yidden, that's not, there's a place where they could connect with other Yidden, where they can connect, where they care, where they don't care. It's duruch and duruch, and every step of their mitzvahs, they can connect to other people, which is even greater mile than the Perek Lamed Beis and Tanya, like he brings, that you don't have to go in a higher place, my neshama we're connected. But in physical things or in small things, we're two different people. But since we're connected in such a place beyond description, it's in the core of the existence which is beyond any way of being. Therefore, we're connected on any state, on any level. And this is something, he says that this is something that that the Moshe Rabbeinu reveals this connection to the Yid, to the Eibishter, and the Yid brings it down into his day-to-day life. Like he says, the Yikwei Lecha, that they should bring this to Moshe, so to speak. Moshe doesn't have these, his chalkusin of the many, of the ribui. Only the Yidden, which they have the ribui, and they have different stages, different modes, and different states. And there they should bring a lakus b'chol matzah shleitiyah. And in such a even they shall all be one. That's the Yid can do it. But this guf is b'keicha shel Moshe, v'at tzaveh, the essence of Moshe is b'tzaveh. That's what the Rebbe does. He connects us. At the camp will come to the Pelmamish, which then will be the revelation of the Eibishter. Gam mitzad Mata won't be a corner of the world, which won't be like the Kedesh HaKadosh. We just want to cool one word. There's a sefer that the Rebbe explains that the difference between Matan Torah and being in Beis Hamikdash and the Baal Shem Tov. The Rebbe explains, this is in many places, by Matan Torah, the Eibishter revealed himself, the Eibishter, Vayir Davai Al Sinai. Like he brings over here, there was the Gili of the Kofalim Hakagigis, and then he did some nice of an Ishma, but it was all Mitzad HaMayla. Came David HaMelech and he built a Beis Hamikdash, and he made a place in the world which is actually, the world itself is holy. Came Baal Shem Tov, made a new Chiddush. There isn't a certain place in the world that's holy. The Baal Shem Tov said, you don't have to go to a certain place in order to connect to the Eibishter. You're there wherever you are. If you think about it, if you're in touch with that reality, that is the Makam HaShechina. You don't have to go somewhere. There is no certain place which is closer, so to speak. Every place where a person thinks over there, Shamunim. So you can think about the Kedesh HaKadosh wherever he is. And the same, and the Rebbe brings over there. This is a Sikha, the Rebbe. Then there's in the Rishus, the Rebbe actually brings the Magid. The Oft of Chassidus is, as a Yid or a Machshav Yunis can actually connect. Wherever he is, he can be connected with every darga he thinks about. In other words, when he's learning the Maimer of the Rabbi Menayim, that you can be there. You don't have to, it's no certain place, no certain time. The whole Yid of Chassidus does the Gili of Chassidus, the Gili of the Yikwei Lecha, in every place, in every Nekudah of Zman and Moki B'Nefesh, that we should be connected on this ultimate level. In practical words, if you let me speak for 2 seconds, there's stages in a person's life. There can be a person that he has hardships, he's overcoming them. So there's one level of connection with Moshe Rabbeinu. He has the koyach of the Etzem and the Shoma, that although it's hard, that although it's uncomfortable, still he connects, still he overcomes himself, whether it's getting out of bed, whatever. And then there is, everything is fine. He feels there's no hell of a hester. He feels that Rebbe is made for him. He feels that Rebbe is guiding him. The Kol Tzad V'Shal. This is good. Beruchlis. Everything is fine. So what's not good then? So then there's a much deeper problem, so to speak. Over there you should connect. Even on that state, then this is the deeper level of connection to Moshe Rabbeinu, to be able to, even then, to realize that it's a time of Golus. Shalehoy Kameisei. The Karev Mam Shemezechet to the Gul HaMitzvah Shlem.
Everybody stay here. When I ask Rav Bell, the Rav is going to present to us a program how to come to bring the voice of the Rebbe Mamish, and everybody should be part of it. By the way, I just want to mention that Rav Minkovic, that's supposed to be part of this program, is a big mazel tov. His son Shnezaman had a bris today. So fortunately, or Baruch Hashem, that the program was full, and he could not be here with us, but Shkert Aminkovich for his good will to be part of it. Mazel tov.
Okay, it's been a long day of Inyanim, of Iyun, and a lot of the Torah of the Rebbe. This is more Torah of the Rebbe, but with a little bit of a different concentration. Let me just give a first few words of introduction. You're going to be receiving a little kuntris which has sichas and mechtavim, and then a zettel like this, which will also be given out tonight. There's the Indian of Iskashrus as it is through Limitei Rasei, as Rabbi Shapiro mentioned before, and we see in Hayem. But anyone that sat by the Rebbe's Fabrengen knows that every single Fabrengen, the Rebbe wanted Peil Mamish, and the Rebbe, sometimes the Peil Mamish has to do with learning, and sometimes the Peil Mamish had to do with reaching out to other Yidden and Miftoim. And every single Fabrengen, I didn't hear every single Fabrengen, but the Fabrengens I was at, it was not benimta that the Rebbe would not mention the Miftoim, and usually speak about each of the Miftoim, mention them again and again. There's a sefer here about the Rebbe mentions why he did this every single time, to mention all the Miftoim, and it's something that, as you'll see over here from the Sichas and the letter, it's something which the Rebbe expected from every single chassid, and even beyond every single chassid, but certainly every single chassid. Certainly anybody learning Tomchet Tamimim, it's not just for people that have the title Shliach, or the title Asken Siburi, or Rav, or whatever the case is. It's something which is for every single Yid. There's a bigger Sederus in Eretz Yisrael in this Indian, where there's always been, a lot of Mitzrayim, and in Monsheil there's also a lot of Mitzrayim. Many of the Yunga like going Mitzrayim, and it's always something, as all in Yonim Tevim, and we learned the Rebbe Sichas too, but you have in the Sederus, it's an opportunity to add on. And one of the things, that somebody wants to go Mitzrayim, the shaila is, where does he go? Does he have materials? Does he have brochures? Does he have a place to go? Is somebody there again? Is he going to be on somebody's territory stepping on his toes? Exactly how do you bring this into Peil Mamish? So they started an organization in Eretz Yisrael called Peila Chabad, and with the Seder Mesuder, and working under the local shluchim, and people were going to places of work, and if somebody has people that they know personally to do mivtzoyim, Be'ef Mesuder, the first 2 pages of this kuntras were copied from that, from one of their kuntresim that they give out for the chavra that joined this irgun, and every place has its own tchunas and its own way of doing things. Through a tremendous amount of ishtadlus on Erev Shabbos, somewhat of this gathering was somewhat of a push that the organization of a Mefsoim center here in Montreal was finalized, and a younger man was taken on to be in charge of it. It's Rabbi Yudi Winterfeld. And there will be a Mefzoim Center, Mirz Hashem, opening very soon, which will have brochures and will have everything you need, and will help the Irgun of Anash, and hopefully coordinate with the Shluchim in order to bring in Yonim B'Peil Mamish. There's one Indian that everybody knows. When CNN came to the Rebbe, and they asked the Rebbe what is his message regarding Mashiach, and the Rebbe said, everybody knows that the Mashiach is ready to come now. We have to add acts of goodness and kindness. So then the reporter, that's usually what people, that's the thing everybody quotes. But there was another piece there. The reporter said, so people should do acts of goodness and kindness for Mashiach to come. And then the Rebbe said, just a little bit more, and he'll come immediately. And that's the Nekuda, that Anash and Shulchan, everybody's doing what they can. The Shaila is a little bit more. A little bit more, a lot bit more, and with the assistance to take away some of the difficulties in doing so. So that's the point of this Mivtzoim Center. So there's a zettel over here. It will be given out afterwards also for people to pick out. I can go through probably some ideas if after going through the Sichas. They have some time. There are many different ideas, and this is just some things that were put down over here. And it's certainly not limited to this, and anyone that is serious about doing something, but Peil Mamish and Filat settle, and then when it comes time to do one of the Mivtzoyim, so then we have somebody to call, and the person always has Bechira Chofshis to say no, but if you're available then and be able to do something, so that's the back. I should have made a copy of it. The back of the Pila Chabad magazine says, who is this for? So it says over there, accountant, teacher, mashgiach, rav, dayan, rosh yeshiva, carpenter, contractor, you know, a whole list of people. Whoever you are, so it's also to add on more in whatever kav it is. So we have over here some sichas. So the title over here, Yisuf Ba'afotis Yadus Teivos Cha'protis, that it's poshet a personal favor for the individual who's doing it. This is a sicha from Lakut Sichas Lamed Gimel. Most of the sichas here are from the Sefer Teiras Ashlichas, I think it's called Sefer Ashlichas. And they reprint it, I think, called Teiras Ashlichas. So it doesn't have the Maram Mekamis in here, but you can look over there to get all the Maram Mekamis. These first two pages were taken from the Pila Chabad Conference. That everybody in their own Indian is in charge of something, so that person is nasi as far as his own family or whatever context we're speaking about. He just doesn't worry about in general for his group. There it's talking about the nachalas. So every individual has to have the proper portion. So the Nasi puts himself into the situation of each individual. He figures out what is perfectly fit for this person. What's the proper thing for him? Page 2, the little numbers on the top. And so too, when the main Nasi gives a person some job, it's not only because it's good for the group, and it's something which is not your personal good. It's something which is good for you personally too. But that the Friedrich Rebbe gave clear instructions. That every person has a personal obligation to be involved in a fotis hayadus, keila fotis mayonos, uteris achsidus chutza. If a person should think, ma leila chutza, what do I have to do with this chutzpah? The better I should learn Torah and I should go higher and higher in my Vedas Hashem. You should know you should know that it's not just because we're in such a world that you need to reach out to others. And you have to give up what's good for you personally in order to help other people. That this is the favor for you and your portion. And the begs and choose the right path. This is the proper path to follow. So you see over here that it's something which is obviously, it's not discashus, things have to be done, but it's not pshat that you're giving up something in order to, even in your own personal inyonim. The next sikha, we don't have time to go through all the sikhas here anyway, it's quite a sharp sikha. If you have time, we'll come back to it, but you have on the bottom of page 2. So anyone that has a shaykh to the Nesidah Reinu, whether those that had the merit to see face to face, like we heard before, that he put his essence into the Torah, into his Torah. So therefore, even if you didn't see personally, you learned this Torah. They have the obligation and the merit to do this shlichus. It turns out that the Rebbe said many times, it was the Kinas HaShluchim, Tafshin Beis, the Rebbe spoke about every single Yid. There used to be that the shlichus was reserved to certain individuals, but now every person is a shliach. And there are a few times, it turns out through the years, that the Rebbe said the same word. If you just look to the last page for a second, on page 8, go back in order. You have on the bottom right, I understand it's a little bit small. I just came across this letter that somebody wrote in. This was taken from a person that was a shliach or a tzaskan sibur or whatever. It's a person who was supposed to be full-time involved in Yiddishkeit. So the Rebbe writes over, it's above Tisha Tafshach Beis. Ma'ashin kabos mechtavi, beikais reish aprak mitlos b'meshach hazman me'ez bo, from wherever you went. Zeis ameres yeser mechatzi shana. You gave me a duch what you did in more than a half year. V'atikva shebavadei l'dekavosi l'meisa la'arech, and I hope that it's unnecessary that I have to explain at great length to you. Shahapu'ule shekosuf, that these pu'ulas that you wrote in your duch, ulai maspikis labala esek. Maybe it's good enough for a person who's involved in business, or somebody whose whole life is involved in something completely different, not a fotzas hayadus. That what this person in his free time, then his free time he does the fotzas hamayanas, he helps out the meisters, whatever the case is. Ulai, the Rebbe says, what you wrote in the last 6 months, that for a person that's working and in his free time he does mitzvayim. But for you, and the Rebbe goes on, for somebody that's in a position like you, obviously this is, I don't need to explain that this is not begeder of what you should be doing. But what you see with Derech Hagav over here, what it is that a businessman should be doing. What a businessman should be doing? That's what the Rebbe wants everybody involved. You look at the next letter, this is from Hechel Menachem. Tmi al Hedrish, that's his mitzvah. This is a nichte betzad at the end of a letter. Leizat loy matzasi shmei bein reshimas hamisaskim b'fotzas hamayonos b'mitzah tefillin b'pulas tzach b'mitzah shmura v'chulu v'chulu u'b'chol meshach hazman shehitik l'Yerushalayim. So I don't see your name on the list of the people. Ha'umnam elu hein ha'teitzos bilom d'zman b'temcha t'mimim. That's the result of you having learned the Tom Chanmim, when the time you go to Yerushalayim, you're doing Mefzoyim. You see, the Rebbe has it over many, many times, but that it's something which is a responsibility of every single Yid, but especially Chassidim, those who learn the Tom Chanmim. Turn back to page 3. These Keplach are all from the Sefer Teres HaShlichas, Sefer HaShlichas. Mitzad Sheichas L'Nosi Ader, Sheshom Mipiv Shal Mashiach. The Baal Shem Tov heard that they must have cost him second line. Rebbe Rayatz Nasi Ader idea v'hichli shekol mi sheshayich elav hina begeder asken tziburi shetzarach liful b'fotzas ateirev hayadas fotzas hamayanas chutz. Everybody has their responsibility. V'alach is kama b'nidin zesh nasi derein lehister es adavar besot. El appears from a bekel. It wasn't like previous generations that it was a secret. That he made it very clear what it is he wants. He didn't just say it verbally with a regular voice, he said it with a big voice. Responsibility of every single one of the generation. Okay, the next paragraph, so this is one of the places where the Rebbe, this is I think from Tov Shem Mem Hey, if I'm not mistaken, that he said he pointed every single individual as his shluchim, lasek b'fotzas hayadus b'fotzas hamayanas chutza, haribavade shebekech b'yichol shalecha b'echad l'mal shlichus b'shleimusa. And then it says tzadikim dem labeidim, just like the Eibush that wouldn't ask something. So certainly tzaddikim, even more than the Eibush, because they're neshama b'guf, for sure they're not going to demand more than the person is physically capable. Next paragraph, Chadosh Mamish. Mila shlicha zu shel nasi dereinu tzrich liyas beiben shel Chadosh. Everything has to be as if it's brand new. English yachas l'davar kel shlichos shernitna lifne meshach zman. Kim beiben shel Chadosh and kila beibeyem yitztavisa aleim. Shouldn't be like something that was given a long time ago. It has to be as if it was just now given. The fact is, when the Rebbe was coming out with Heiros every week, then it was Namish Chadoshim. And every time there was a new Heirah every single week. And here, so here, the Mitzvayim, the Mitzvah Tefillin is Tavshach of Zayim. But it has to be in a way of Chadoshim. Umitam za eisim shturim leidis milya shlichas b'fotzas hamayanas chutza. The Rebbe says, and this is why he's making such a storm about it. The Rebbe says. And that's why I keep screaming about this again and again. What good does this do? You have to keep saying it again and again. What for? Everybody knows. If it helps, if it's going to help, so it already helped. And if it's not going to help, so what's going to help to scream some more? If it didn't help my screaming yesterday, it's got my screaming today. So the answer is, everything has to be chadoshim, so you say it again, and you think about it again, make a decision to do it in a fresh way. The next piece, go to the bottom of the second paragraph. First word line is Atayra. 4 lines from the bottom of the page, 5 lines. Every single yid that I've expanded, and not only if you learn Dam Chatamimim, every single yid, without exception, has this responsibility, including women. Nobody is able to remove himself from this global responsibility. The next piece, you see the Rebbe touched up a Gemara in a little different way than people are accustomed to do. They ask him when he goes into judgment, did you do business in a proper way? Did you set aside times for Teda? Claim. The first question they ask you after you finish your 120 years, it's not how much Teda did you learn, top of page 4. That your business and the reason your soul came down to this world, which is to purify the world through a fotzah, that the reason you came down over here, did you become an expert about it? In other words, after 120 years that Rebbe touches up, the first question you get asked is how much you want a mitzvah. Well, Protis Yesu, the Negela Derein is that, how much more so in our generation, that everybody has to do a Fatas Hamayonis, the Rebbe said, and you have to reach out to people, teach them the Aleph base of Yadus. Skip to the 4th paragraph. And if you're involved in other things, even the highest things imaginable, did you do this job with the Munah? You're involved in very high things. You're going to get 310 worlds in Eilam above. What about the main thing for which Hashem put aside all of the worlds, the higher and the lower worlds? And that's why Hashem gave you back your neshama the next day. And He kept it within, keeps it within you every single day. Why does He give you your neshama back? Where are the ones that you taught the Aleph base of Yiddishkeit? And where are the Yidden you makar to Yiddishkeit? Next piece, the Rebbe brings from the Maaseh of Pinchas, that Vayar Pinchas, so he took up the spear, Ra Maaseh Meniskar Alacha, so he tells Moshe Rabbeinu, doesn't say Kanoim Pagan Bay, and Moshe Rabbeinu answers Pinchas, the one that reads the letter, he should be the one to carry it out. So what would Pinchas do? So Pinchas was driving away, that Rebbe explains here, the Goyishkeit from its connection with the Am Yisrael. So the third paragraph, B'derenu neisva hadgoshim yuchedes b'aveda zushal Pinchas. In our generation, the Aveda Pinchas, the Rebbe teaches it up that the Igrasa, or all the siches of the Rebbe about going on Mivtzoyim and reaching out to other Yidden. And once you were crying the Igrasa, and it came to your hand that you heard about the Rebbe's demand, so therefore you have to be the pravanka, you have to be the one to carry it out. Kol Yehudi shu talmid v'chosid shel ispashtus et Moshe Rabbeinu shebeder nesiyat der. So every Yid who is a talmid, a student or a chosid of the Rebbe, or a talmid talmidei v'chosid shel chasidav, you're a student of his students, you're a chosid of his chasidim, or afilu imrak lomed maimer shalei sicha igeres hasham zeis memishu. Even if you just heard about it, somebody, you read something. Nasik kraine de igresa hamakris shalei igeres v'lochim matelas olav ashlichus v'achrayis leve pravanka. Once you read it and once you heard about it, it's too late. Now you have the responsibility to carry it out and play it. That he has to go out and make the separation between Yiddish, between Kedusha and Goyishkeit. And you have to take the spear and kill the Yetzer Hara, which wants to mix together the Goyishkeit with the Yiddishkeit. And as stressed in all of the Igrasa, all the things written by the Nasi Ader, Shehirish B'chaim Chayusa Bol Medain, who made a big shtur when his regular life in this world, Umarish Kam Achshav Al Yedei Igrasa Shalei, and he continues to make a tumult through the things that he wrote. My mother, Chesed Igrasa Kedah Shalei. Last paragraph on page 4. From the story of Pinchas, we understand something else. Why does he have to be the one to do it? He's got his responsibility. He's got to prevent this pirza. There's a Rebbe. Yeshnam kam Rabbeim, Rabbonim, Askonim, Yerushalayim, B'chal Arbe Yehudim, G'delim, B'chshuvim Mimena. There's so many other Yidden, big Yidden, Askonim, and they're so much bigger than me. B'harbe Kehilos Kadeshe, Shekulim Yesh Lehem, Esanasi Shlehem, Arav, Amani. Look at everybody else. Look how big the Jewish people is, and look at all of these people. Page 5. Reiman Shalom Reishim Mesavil LePinchas Moshe Rabbeinu, Sanhedrin, Nesiah Shvatim, B'chol Yisrael. Everybody was there, Moshe Rabbeinu on down. Mikol Malkam Amal Moshe Shekiben Shahu Kraina De Igrasa Iu Leve Pravanka. Since you're the one that read it, you have to carry it up. Mekiben Sheyehud Zeh Kara Eishama Mila Migeretz. Even if you just read or heard this word from the letter Shemeres Heirod Berura B'Nagel Milchemes Hayetze Yesh Lemiyad Ashlichas Lelechas Batzim L'Kai. You have to go right away to do it. V'leidak L'Shlech Mishamshim B'Shluchim, not just to send other people to do it. Lot says Yidei Chavos, but Messinas come upon $5 Akadem L'Tzedakah. And you'll write out a check. Drei Mocha. B'Chdei Shasheni Yochel Asik B'Zeh. Which, by the way, if you want to do that for the Swam Center, you can do that too. But not to be, over here we're talking about personal involvement. Just like Pinchas didn't send somebody else. He went himself. It's something which is a mitzvah shebagufa, and that you cannot fulfill through sending somebody else. You're going with the keches of the Rebbe who's giving you the ability to do this. Next paragraph, do the 2 paragraphs here. In our generation, it's mamech pekuch nefoshes. The unbelievable situation in the entire world, that they're going around hundreds of thousands of Jewish children. They don't know the most elementary things about Yiddishkeit. They're like kidnapped children because they were not raised in the way of Torah. Since we're talking about saving, literally saving these souls, it's saving their souls spiritually, which is connected with saving them physically. It's a time that we have to make a tumult and a storm that it's every single person's responsibility to do this. Next piece, I call Shayachim Lafatzas HaMayanas. There's a Maisa over here, summarize the Maisa, the Yosef Kolbe, before he became a Chassid, he spoke with the Alter Rebbe about the Baal Shem Tov, and the way he expressed himself regarding the Baal Shem Tov was not with the proper covet. So the Alter Rebbe said, you should know that the Gili of Baal Shem Tov was higher than Gili Eliyahu. The Yosef Kolbe said, no, where do you get such a thing from? So the Alter Rebbe says a Beferish Gemara. Yosef Kolbe was a Baki B'Shas. He thinks through the whole Gemara, can't find the Gemara. So Alter Rebbe says that we see that when Eliyahu Hanavi revealed the secret, we see that he was punished for this. And we see the Baal Shem Tov revealed secrets, and he doesn't get punished for this. Faket. They receive what he did Lamaila, and they say you have to do more of what's Samayanis, and you're going to continue until B'Yibiyas HaMashiach. So Rabbi Yosef asked Alter Rebbe, no, okay, that's good for the Baal Shem Tov, but what about you? So Alter Rebbe says, it's a Gemara B'Feresh. It says another B'Feresh Gemara. What's it in the Gemara? It says, Nitza Kavachibur. That when you have a Dvar Isser, and it's going up, the steam is going up. The Dvar Isser, the Dvar Heter, a Fakert, you have a woman whose hands are Tameh, and the steam coming up, and the pot is tar. So we say, Nitza Kavachibur, that the fact that the steam is connected from the top to the bottom, that the fact that there's Nitzuk, this vertical connection, is considered halachically significant. So on the bottom line, the bottom line of page 5, the Alter Rebbe said, if that's the way, with something that's prohibited, how much more so it's Kedusha? So therefore, that what says by the Baal Shem Tov for sure says about me, said the Alter Rebbe, because Nitzak HaVechibur is a Beferish Gemara. V'sayim Rabbeinu Azaki, top of page 6. The Alter Rebbe concluded, Mereina Baal Shem Tov, Yitzek Tamid Aleinu is Dvarav HaKadosh. The Alter Rebbe says that the Baal Shem Tov is constantly pouring upon us his holy words. Umamela Nitzak HaVechibur. And the connection, therefore, makes us connected. Kadesha Onu Talmid Shateres HaBaal Shem Tov Nitzekes Banu Muchubarim Mukasharim Elav. The fact that it's being poured constantly upon us, the Nitzuk makes a chibur and we're connected. That kind is the story. So the Rebbe says it's not just a nice story, it's a lesson for us. The Yetzer Hara comes and says, look, what kind of person are you? You saw the Ruchni is the level of Alts, where are you holding? You're going to do Mifsayim, and through this you're going to bring Mashiach. Says the Yetzer Hara. You have to answer Yetzer Hara like this. Regardless of my personal circumstance, since it's poured upon me the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, so the Nitzuk makes a connection, and therefore whatever it says by the Rebbeim is for me too. And therefore everybody has the ability to spread this further. Skip to page 7. The Rebbe brings a mashal here in the Sikha about an engineer that built a whole machine. And somebody takes a look at this machine, and it's got a whole bunch of screws in the machine. And he says, this little screw over here, I don't really see why it's necessary. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. So he takes out the screw, just one little screw. What does that have to do with anything? So obviously, the person is a shaita, because he's not the engineer, and he has no idea, obviously there wasn't a reason for it, that the engineer would not have designed this screw to be in the machine in the first place. And the fact that the engineer, who knows what he's doing and designed the machine, put the screw there, so that means it's absolutely necessary that it be there. So 4 paragraphs from the bottom. וכך כאשר הקדוש ברוך הוא מזמן לפלני לעסק בעניין אחד. ולראה לעסק בעניין אחר, הכל הוא בהשגחה פרטית ונגיע לכלולוס הכוונה. But different people are given different things, and each one has their own place that they have to fulfill. And this also applies if a Jew moves to a certain city. And you ask the person, you should now do something or start spreading Yiddishkeit in the city. So he can make the following complaint. It's a good spot for Montreal. Before I moved here, this city has been around for a long time. Right? It's been here a long time. And the fact that I didn't do anything all of these years because I didn't live here, so it means obviously everything was the point the way it should be. So there was nothing missing in the city, the fact that I didn't live here. So that I didn't do anything, but I didn't live here. There's a lot of places I don't live. So all of those places I don't have to do anything. So this city seemed to be doing quite well. Well, yeah, well, not well, whatever the case is, but it certainly didn't need me. So if the place doesn't need me, so now you're asking me I have to get busy and do a fatzas hayadus, fatzas hamayonis. Don't make any sense. The Rebbe said. He answers from the Mashal. Just like you have to take into account the plan of the engineer who designed and built this machine. And if you don't participate in the proper way, the entire machine doesn't work. How much more so that the Eibishter considered you to be an integral part of the machine? For sure that's the kavanah. It's precise. The reason you're here is because you have to do something. So that gets true. Before you came to the city, you didn't need to be here. Because you weren't here. If the Eibishter needed you here, would have brought you here sooner. The city didn't need you, and you didn't need to be in the city. So now both are absolutely essential, that you need it for yourself and the city needs it for itself. That the city needs you, and you need the city at a place to work. Just one last paragraph over here on the last page of the Cheshbon Tzedek. So very practical. I mean, I'm skipping the parts not because they shouldn't be read, but Mitzat Ketzer Azban, I have 30 seconds. So the third paragraph on page 8. Everybody has certain people that he meets every day in his business, whatever the case is. It's obvious that what is the reason that Hashem made it? You should meet these people. That there should be something additional coming out of the mitzvahs. That you should bring them close to Yiddishkeit and Chassidus. The mere fact that you came in contact with them is itself the proof that you have the ability and the responsibility to do with them. So, in conclusion, it's whatever Gimel Tabbas means or doesn't mean, and whatever 20 years means and doesn't mean, I leave for people who have more understanding in these things than myself. But one thing for sure, it's an opportunity for the Sederus. The Rebbe said once by Fabrengen that by every single gathering of Yidden, it should be chazer over the explanation of the Rambam in Hilchas Tshuva, that a person is required to look at the entire world as being kulei shakel. And therefore, ma'isa echad or dibur echad or machshava achas, even one pu'ula could be the one to tip the scale and bring the gula b'peil mamish. So since the same Shabbos, in Partzufeim Shabbos, there are many different Mivtzoyim, not to say that everybody has to do everything that's on this list, but to pick something over there, or more than one thing, and please give the Zettlach to Yudi Winterfeld. The Rebbe once said, one of the Sikhs over here, the Rebbe said that, people, the one I skipped at the beginning about people, he says, there's such a deep sleep. Halavai, the sleep should be pale that they're Sheyev Chaim, Timakar Chaim, but the Vailam is Shloft, and they're deep sleep, and it keeps getting deeper and deeper. And the Rebbe said, it's very hard to get people to move. The Rebbe said, but you know something? You can make hachlata without even moving. Answer is, where you're sitting, the Rebbe said. Right around where you're sitting, you don't even have to move. Just make a hachlata, and Hashem hears your hachlata, and Hashem listens to it, and that should be the machshava achas to bring the gula b'peil mamash. Shouldn't remain in the level of machshava, should come down to dibur, it should come down to ma'aseh b'peil. The Ebershter matzliach sein al in yom.
Just to make it practical now, so everybody should take a rest now until 7:30 tonight. In this Hashem, which will be the second part of this Iserus and Iserus discussions with the Rebbe. And those papers that you have, if somebody wants to give it to you, the Winterfeld, before we heard Shluchei Shalom and Kamei say, you are welcome to give it to me, so I will give it over with my hand to you, the Winterfeld. Shkoyach, Shkoyach. Thank you very much, Rav Bell.